Family of salt. We know that there are different salts. We can call them in different families. Example, NaCl, Na2SO4, NaNO3. What is common in all these three salt? We can say sodium is common in all these three. So we can call them in sodium family. Another example, HCl, NaCl, CaCl2. What is common in all these three? We can say Cl is common in all these three. We can say that these belong to chloride family. Now, we can consider one of the salt NaCl. Do you know how this NaCl is formed? We already studied that when an acid combines with a base, salt is formed as a result of it. When a acid react with the base to form salt and water. An example, HCl when combines with NaOH, it results in the formation of NaCl along with water molecule. Here NaCl is the salt formed during this reaction. How that NaCl is formed? HCl will split into H plus and Cl minus ion. NaOH will split into Na plus and OH minus ions. The hydrogen ion H plus ion from acid will combine with OH minus ion in the base to form water. So what is remaining there? Na plus ion in the base and Cl minus ion in the acid. This Na plus will combine with Cl minus to form the salt NaCl. So in a salt, the first part, that is Na, is corresponding or it is coming from the base, and the second part Cl is coming from the acid. So in a salt, first part is from a base and second part is from the acid. Another example, K2SO4. What will be the respective acid and base from which this salt is formed? We can say that KOH is the base and H2SO4 is the respective acid. So, from the acid, hydrogen will be removed and it will combine with OH from the respective base to form water. So, what is remaining there? K plus ion from the base and SO4 2 minus ion from the acid. These two ions will combine together to form the salt K2SO4. Another example, CaCl2, calcium chloride. From which acid and base it is formed? Calcium hydroxide and HCl. OH from the base combines with H plus from the acid to form water. Ca2 plus ion from the base and Cl minus ion from the acid will combine to form the salt CaCl2. Now, can you find out which is the respective acid and base of these salt? Just try it out. The respective acid and base from which these salts are formed. Okay, I think you got the answer. First one, CaSO4. It is obtained from calcium hydroxide and H2SO4. CaOH twice and H2SO4. Second one, NaOH and HNO3. Third one, ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH and HCl. Fourth one, MgOH twice plus H2SO4. Magnesium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Fifth one, NaOH plus H2CO3. Sodium hydroxide and carbonic acid. Sixth one, NaOH and H2SO4. Please check whether your answer is correct or not. Next, pH of the salt. By knowing the salt, we can predict whether it is acidic, basic or neutral. How to identify it? If we are able to understand the respective acid and base from which it is formed, we can predict what is the nature of the salt formed. Example, NaOH plus HCl give NaCl plus H2O. This salt NaCl is formed from NaOH and HCl. We know that NaOH is a strong base. HCl is a strong acid. When a strong base combines with strong acid, the salt formed will be neutral. When a strong base combines with strong acid, the salt formed will be neutral. Strong base plus strong acid is neutral salt. We know that this reaction is a neutralization reaction. We studied this reaction as an example for neutralization reaction, right? So, NaCl is a neutral. Another example, NaOH plus H2CO3. Sodium hydroxide when combines with carbonic acid give Na2CO3 plus H2O. Right? We know that NaOH is a strong base, H2CO3 is a weak acid. When a strong base combines with weak acid, the salt formed will be basic. We already know that Na2CO3, sodium carbonate, is a base. So, when a strong base combines with weak acid, the product formed will be base. So, strong base plus weak acid give basic salt. Now, next example. NH4OH when combines with HCl, the product formed is NH4Cl plus H2O. NH4OH is a weak base and HCl is a strong acid. When a weak base reacts with a strong acid, the product formed will be acidic. Weak base when combined with a strong acid, the product formed will be acidic. So, NH4Cl is a acidic salt. So, we can conclude that strong base when react with a strong acid, the salt will be neutral. Strong base when combined with weak acid, the salt will be basic. And weak base when combined with strong acid, the salt formed will be acidic. So, we can conclude that if we are able to understand the respective acid and base from which the salt is formed and its nature, we can predict the nature of the salt. If we know whether the acid is strong or base is strong, we can predict the nature of the salt. Strong acid plus strong base give neutral salt. Strong base plus weak acid give basic salt. Weak base plus strong acid give acidic salt.